So, how are you supposed to secure your retirement in a world where, let's be honest, the old rules just don't seem to apply anymore? It's the one question that's causing this huge wave of anxiety. And today we're going to break down the data to find a real actionable answer.
Let's just start with this number, 200%. Recently, online searches for one very specific term just exploded. They shot up by over 200%, almost overnight. And that term? Social Security. Yeah, this wasn't just a bunch of people being curious. This was a collective digital scream. It was a sign of widespread panic as people suddenly realized the system they've been counting on their entire lives, well, it's on the verge of breaking.
And that brings us to the fundamental question of our time, doesn't it? To build a future you can actually count on, what's the smarter play? Is it the supposed safety of a stable job? Or is it the high-stakes world of running your own business?
Okay, so to really understand this panic, we first need to look at some numbers that frankly don't add up. Let's start with what's happening in the United States.
So on the surface, things looked okay. Retirees in 2026 got a 2.8% cost of living adjustment. Not amazing, but not bad, right? Well, hold on. In that same year, the standard premium for Medicare Part B shot up by nearly 10%. Think about that. That one healthcare hike ate up almost a third of their raise, leaving most people with less actual money in their pockets than before.
And then came a proposal that just shattered what little trust was left. The six-figure limit. It suggested capping Social Security benefits for people who had earned more during their careers. And this quote just nails the shift in thinking. What was always seen as an earned right, something you paid into your whole life, was suddenly being talked about like a welfare program. This sent a shockwave through the entire professional class.
Now we need to zoom out because this isn't just an American problem, not by a long shot. This is a demographic tidal wave, and it's hitting the entire developed world.
This chart just lays out the crisis perfectly. Back in the year 2000, for every 100 workers, there were 22 retirees to support. Fast forward to 2050, and that number is projected to explode to 52. We have a shrinking workforce being asked to support a massive, growing population of retirees. I mean, you don't have to be a math genius to see that just doesn't work.
And if you want a sneak peek at the political future of this crisis, all you have to do is look at Japan. They call it a silver democracy. Nearly 30% of the population is over 65, and they have the highest voter turnout of any group. They wield enormous political power. And the result? National spending gets skewed heavily towards eldercare, which, effectively strips resources and opportunities from the younger generations.
So, okay, with public pensions on such shaky ground, is that traditional path of being an employee still the safe bet it's always been made out to be? Let's take a closer look.
The employee path kind of feels like a gilded cage. It looks safe and shiny from the outside. You get some great protections, like the 401k match. I mean, that's literally free money. And new laws even auto-enroll you in savings plans. But the cage has bars. There are strict limits on how much you can save, you have zero control over your tax situation, and that finish line, that magic retirement number, it just keeps moving further and further away.
And speaking of that finish line, here it is. This is the new magic number. It's what the average American now believes they need to save up to retire comfortably. And get this, that number has jumped by over $200,000 in just the last 4 years. It's insane.
But hitting that number feels like a total fantasy for most people. And these numbers show the gap between the goal and the grim reality. Nearly half of all Americans are afraid they'll outlive their savings. A staggering 46% have absolutely nothing saved. Nothing. And even for those who do, almost a third of their accounts are just sitting there dormant, getting eaten alive by fees. The so-called safe path, well, it's not looking so safe anymore, is it?
So if the safe path is actually a minefield, what about the alternative? Let's look at the entrepreneur's bet, betting on yourself. Now, this path is absolutely filled with risk, but it also unlocks a kind of financial superpower that is completely 100% off limits to a regular employee.
First things first, let's be totally honest about the dangers here. 1 in 5 business owners have no retirement savings at all. Most are basically betting everything they have on selling their business one day, which is a huge gamble. And two-thirds, don't even have a formal plan for how to make that happen. The downside here is absolutely terrifying.
But now, let's talk about the upside. Remember, as an employee under 50, the absolute maximum you can put into your 401k tax-free is $24,500. That's the ceiling. Now watch this. As an entrepreneur over 50, using a special account called a solo 401k, you can contribute up to $72,000 in a single year.
That's nearly triple what the employee can do.
But hold on, it gets even crazier. A successful 60-year-old entrepreneur, by combining a few advanced plans, can legally shield over $400,000 from taxes in 1 year. Just let that number sink in for a second. And this chart right here perfectly illustrates the entrepreneur's superpower. It's called tax arbitrage. Now, this isn't some shady loophole. It's the ability to strategically use the tax code to your advantage, and it's a massive benefit that was built specifically for business owners. The power to dramatically accelerate your tax-free savings is an absolute game changer, and it's a tool that is exclusively available to those who run their own business.
So, we've seen the cage and we've seen the high-stakes bet. But here's the thing, this isn't a simple choice between one or the other. There is a smarter, data-backed third way, and it's called the sequenced career.
But first, we have to deal with the biggest myth of all, this idea that entrepreneurship is just for 20-somethings in hoodies coding in a garage. The hard data, well, it tells a completely different story.
Check this out. A massive study from MIT found that a 40-year-old founder is more than twice as likely to build a successful company as a 25-year-old, and a 50-year-old founder nearly 3 times as likely? It turns out that deep industry experience, networks, and resilience, not youth, are the true predictors of success.
Which brings us to the final actionable strategy, the sequenced career. In the first phase of your career, you play defense. You're an employee. You get that free 401k match money, and most importantly, you build deep, valuable expertise on your employer's dime. Then around age 45 or 50, you go on offense. You launch your own business, converting all that expertise into equity, and then you unleash those powerful tax tools to supercharge your savings during your peak earning years.
You see, this isn't about choosing one job or one path for your entire life. It's about seeing your career in 2 distinct stages, a time for learning and a time for leaping. So the only question left to ask is, what's your sequence?